Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Paul Wilkes, the Falls Business Services Manager, and welcome to today's briefing on remote audits. Today I'm joined by Sam Bouglas, who's our Compliance and Auditing Officer, and behind the scenes we've got Adam, who's working on the technicals. So today's an opportunity for us to take you through all of the information that you need to know to undertake a bronze remote audit. And hopefully most of you are now familiar with the various webinar platforms. So on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll be able to open up the written chat box. And if you've got something you want to say or ask us, then use that and we'll do our best to answer either via the written chat function, or I'll open it up for everyone to answer afterwards. So today I'm going to give you a short overview about why we now have remote audits. And Sam will then take you through the key information about remote audits, covering areas such as what you need to have in place for a remote audit, what happens on the day of the audit, and how to provide additional information if it's required. And then I'll talk you through a couple of products that we have available to support you as well. And then we'll have an opportunity at the end to answer any questions that you've raised. So as I said, please feel free to use the chat function to ask us any questions. And if we aren't able to answer them today, then we'll be in touch afterwards. And we'll also send out the slide pack to all delegates, which has links to pages that we mention as we go through. So as part of our response to the COVID pandemic, we completed a pilot for remote bronze audit back in September. And then in October, we invited the first tranche of companies to book a remote audit, including operators in Wales who had an audit booked during their first lockdown period. And then after the announcement of a national lockdown in England, we switched all bronze audits booked between the 5th of November and the 31st of January to remote audits. And any new audits booked for this period are automatically being booked as remote audits. And at the moment, we're looking at introducing for audits after the 31st of January, there'll be an option of a remote or a site-based audit, but we will update that nearer the time. Okay, so now I'll hand over to Sam to take you through some of the key information.
Thanks, Paul. Welcome, members. My name's Sam Bouglas and I'm part of the Falls compliance team. Now, Adam, thank you. Okay, so now we have developed a remote auditing guidance page full of helpful information. This includes links to the remote auditee guidance documents and a webinar on how to upload additional information via the Bronze Evidencing Portal. Now, a remote audit is an audit that's conducted online via a video call between our member and a Falls auditor. It will be conducted on the date which has been booked and agreed between the member and the audit provider. The auditor will need to see evidence of how a member can meet all of the requirements of the Falls standard, and this is the same as an on-site audit. You will need a working webcam and microphone, working speakers or headphones, a stable internet connection, a continuous power supply to the video conferencing device, and either Microsoft Teams or Zoom. Your audit booking email will inform you which of these video conferencing services will be used for your audit, and this is entirely dependent on your audit provider. We've got help to download and access Teams and Zoom, and this is located on the remote auditing guidance page and in the booking confirmation email that you have received from your audit provider. If the auditor requires additional evidence to support the audit, they will verbally request this at the time of the audit, and the information can be uploaded via the Bronze Evidencing Portal after your audit. So I've already mentioned the remote auditing guidance page, and here you'll find some frequently asked questions, including how to download and access the Microsoft Teams or Zoom's platform. I'll go through and how to get to this page a little bit later. You'll be contacted by your auditor at least 5 days prior to your remote audit. Now, this will be either via the same video conferencing suite that you are going to use for your audit or via a standard telephone call. If you have a simple telephone call, then it will be accompanied by an email from your audit provider, And the email will give you directions on how to check your video and microphone are working correctly. Please make sure that you follow these instructions in the email and that you contact your audit provider if you've got any further questions about how to access your microphone or video suite correctly. Now, if you've not received any contact from your auditor 5 days prior to your audit, please contact the FORS helpline or your audit provider that is detailed in the confirmation email that you have for further information. We recommend that you join the video call at least 5 minutes prior to the start of your audit, just to check that everything's working okay. Now, you'll be able to have more than one person attending at the audit, as long as you notify your audit provider who else will be attending prior to your audit. It's really important to note that although you can have a consultant with you on your remote audit, you have to undertake the audit yourself. Your consultant cannot undertake the audit on your behalf. You and the auditor shall be able to see each other throughout the whole audit. Now, the audit should take approximately the same amount of time as an existing field audit does. FORS have developed information and guidance on how to prepare for a FORS Bronze audit, and you'll find this in the FORS Audit Toolkit that is on the website. Evidence for the remote audit shall be presented by screen sharing or holding documents up to the camera, or after the audit via the Bronze Evidencing Portal. Now, if you're asked to provide evidence in any other means to the ones I've just described, please contact the FORS helpline. For your FORS Bronze remote audit, auditors should not ask you to use any other method to provide additional information, such as emailing or messaging. Now, we're frequently asked about how a company can evidence their vehicle files if they've not been maintained due to the COVID-19 restrictions. It is the member's responsibility to ensure that vehicle files are kept up to date with the reasons for missed PMIs or MOTs, showing that they meet the government's relaxations. And the member shall explain how they plan to bring the vehicle back in line with the scheduled inspections. Now, members will need to be able to evidence that the maintenance provider was or is closed, or why maintenance bookings have been missed or delayed. Evidencing that vehicles have not been on the road, have an inspection scheduled prior to returning to the road. Now, let's just talk about driving licence checks. Members will need to be able to evidence when driving licence checks were booked to be carried out, who checks the licences, were the drivers on furlough, or was the person that carries out the checks on furlough? When did the drivers or the person who carries out the checks return from furlough? And when the next licence checks are planned to commence. It's really important to ensure that all drivers who have not had a licence check in the last 6 months, for example, those on furlough, have completed a driving licence check prior to returning to driving duties, and this will be checked at audit. All drivers currently undertaking driving duties shall have had a licence check in the last 6 months. And it's a similar case with eyesight checks. Members will need to be able to evidence when the eyesight checks were booked, who conducts the checks, were drivers or the person conducting the checks on furlough, when did the drivers or the person conducting the checks return from furlough, and when are the next eyesight checks planned to commence. It's again really important to ensure that all drivers who have not undertaken and passed an eyesight check in the last 6 months have undertaken and passed an eyesight check prior to returning to driving duties. All drivers who currently undertake driving duties shall have undertaken and passed an eyesight check in the last 6 months. Now, the majority of evidence will be presented, as I said earlier, through sharing your screen or by presenting relevant evidence to the camera during the audit. So this is if there are documents that can't be scanned in or documents that you have in a printed format and not electronic. If the auditor requires additional evidence to support the audit, they will verbally request this at the time of the audit, so your auditor will let you know to expect that you will need to upload additional evidence. This evidence must be uploaded by the Bronze Evidencing Portal. Now, we've developed an auditee guide and an auditee webinar, both available on our remote auditing page, and these will take you step by step pictorially through the process of uploading your information via the Bronze Evidencing Portal. These tools, as I said, are available on this hyperlink here on the Bronze Evidencing, on the remote auditing page. Now, you can access the remote auditing page, which I have mentioned several times, that encompasses the FAQs for auditee guidance and the training webinar, along with a number of other tools, by selecting Tools and Toolkits and Guides from the top blue bar, then select FORS Audit Toolkit. Then about a quarter of the way down the page, you will see this here, which is a blue hyperlinked bar with remote audits. Once you've clicked onto that page, scroll down to about a third of the way down and you will find the remote auditing guidance as a PDF document, all of the FAQs on how to access Microsoft Teams or Zoom, and a webinar that takes you step by step through the remote auditing evidence upload if you are requested to upload evidence at the end of your audit. Now, once you've completed your audit, you will receive a brief questionnaire via email. Your participation is exceptionally helpful in allowing us to adapt the remote auditing process as we move forward. I'm now going to pass you back to Paul, who will go through some additional slides and some additional tools that we have that may help you further.
Thanks, Sam. Just wait for this slides to catch up. Okay. So to finish up our session today, as Sam said, I just wanted to make you aware of a couple of products that we're offering to support remote audits. Now, they're not mandatory, but they have been designed to help you if you want them. So we have two online offerings. We've got FORS Fleet Tools and FORS FMS, and both have been developed by FORS and Fleet Check, who are our FORS affinity partner. And they've been designed specifically to support our members with their accreditations. And both of these have been available for a while now, but we've made some changes to them specifically to support the switch to remote audits. FORS Fleet Tools is a free toolkit that helps you to manage and monitor your fleet and is available for all members at any level. And FORS Fleet Tools provides you with three separate toolkits: a fuel tracker for recording and tracking your fuel use, a penalty charge notice tracker to help you monitor, manage and reduce your fines, and an incident tracker that tracks and monitors your incidents involving drivers or vehicles. And to support remote audits, we've also added in a work list that allows you to upload evidence against each of the bronze requirements. And then you can use that to present to the auditor during your remote audit. And then we've also got FORS FMS, which is our fleet management system. And it's provided by our software partner, Fleet Check. And this system consolidates all of your fleet management data, such as fuel cards, telematics, driver information, and training records. And it's been designed to make it easier to provide the right information against each of the FORS requirements at audits. And it also has the work list that allows you to put the evidence in there, and has reports that are designed to extract the right information from the fleet management system to help you evidence at audit. And at the moment, they're offering a number of months free access to support you with your audits on that. So as a reminder, neither of these products are mandatory, but they are there to help you with your remote audit. And if you want some more information, or you're not sure which would be the best solution for you, then you can either contact Fleet Check via the phone number provided here, or alternatively go onto our remote audit page and you can book in a demonstration online there. So in terms of further information on remote audits, as we've mentioned a few times, please have a look at the remote audit guidance webpage and watch the remote audit evidencing upload video, which Sam talked about as well. And if you are still having any problems, then call or email our helpline